Welcome to the workshop. So when I want to discuss the topic, I will discuss three features that will help you get the most out of the sympl platform, and it's especially focused on streamlining your workflow. So the first feature I want to discuss is how to use brand preferences for a more efficient campaign setup. Then also how to use the vacancy import functionality. It's a really cool feature that will allow you to generate a full campaign with only within a minute. And then finally, I want to discuss some quick tricks on how to duplicate ads and campaigns that will also help you work a bit more efficiently with sympl, and which will prevent to do a lot of manual work. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive into it. All right, so currently you should be able to see my screen in sympl. I'm logged on to our demo account, and I will start by showing you how to set up a brand. So the branch, you can find it within your account settings. So it's at the bottom left and then the tab for brands. And as you can see, there are a few brands already here. Depending on the subscription type you can have more or lesser brands, but the brand settings should apply to everyone. So what a brand is for, you can actually use sympl to advertise for different brands. And setting the brand here, of course, it will allow you to use the brand name within your campaign, but also it will help you to set a sort of set of brand preferences that you can use and reuse for every campaign that you create for that brand. So just to illustrate, I'm going to use the example of IKEA. All right, so I create a new brand here. And as you can see, there are a few settings that you can do. And by doing these settings, it will apply automatically to each new campaign that you create for a specific brand. So there are a few quite useful ones. For example, the colors. So by setting the default colors that you use for the brand, you can already prevent the setup that it would recur every time that you create a campaign. For example, the colors for the advertising or the colors for the vacancy page. So you can already save those steps. The same goes for logo and also perhaps for images. So especially if you have a sort of subset of images that you would like to use for a specific brand, you can apply those here and then use them across the different campaigns. And this will ensure some sort of consistency within overall the campaigns. All right. There are also some other settings that you can do here. For example, if there's always one person who should follow up on the candidates, you can choose the user that should be the default lead recruiter. You can also select the default language of the campaign, or perhaps a default targeting region. So that region will already be specified after creating the campaign. So for now, this is it for the brands. Of course, if you want to make any changes in a later period, you can always do that. But yeah, you should be able to just set it once and then just keep on using the brand for the campaigns that you need to. All right, so following up on this, I wanted to show the vacancy import function. So this is actually a new type of a new way of creating campaigns. So instead of having to do the whole campaign manual setup, you're now able to generate a full campaign based on an existing vacancy page. So in line with the brand that I just created, I looked up this vacancy from IKEA. So it's a sales interior designer vacancy in Malaysia. And you will see that there's a standard job description, of course, also the picture that is here. And by copying the link here, you can just insert it into sympl, select the brand for which you would like to advertise. And this is also important because then the preferences we just did, for example, the colors or images that the system can fall back on if it cannot find anything on the website, those will be loaded into the campaign, such that you have a more complete branded campaign. So by clicking import vacancy, the software will gather all text and images if there are any available on the website, and it will generate a full campaign. So this includes the setup of the targeting, so that already the correct region and job type is selected, but also the advertising, so the materials, brands, the materials, the colors, and as well as the texts are already generated. A full vacancy page, also in line with the brand and very closely matching your original vacancy page. And then finally, the application form is also generated. And as you can see, you would be able to publish this already. So of course, I will always recommend to walk through it so that you can see that all setup is done correctly. So as you can see, the function title matches what we see on the vacancy page, and also the different settings related to targeting are already there. For example, the city for which the vacancy is intended is already set, but also the function type that matches the vacancy and the language of the campaign and years of experience that is required for the candidate are also already set for the targeting. All right, so for the advertising, you will see that the images are used from within the brand, because, well, there was only this image, I believe, that is on the website itself, but to have a bit more material within the campaign, that you can always, you can also use the images from the brand settings. As you can see, the colors are also applied, and the text is generated based on the vacancy page. So it should have a really connected, a real good connection to the content on the vacancy page, which will also improve the candidate experience. And then finally, the vacancy page is already created and should match the original vacancy page very closely. Of course, if you want to change anything, you can still do that. And always it's good to check that all information you would like to include is there. But as you can see, it has a really detailed information, such as, for example, the employee discount you get, or the maternal or paternity leave. That is one of the job benefits IKEA offers for this specific vacancy. So this is a very cool way of creating a campaign, which can save you a lot of time, especially when you have to do campaigns over and over again. For most of you, I guess there's already an existing vacancy page that you could use for this. Make sure to check out. Just to repeat, it's when you create a campaign and then the import campaign functionality. So it's an alternative way of creating the campaign. All right, then finally, I want to show you some ways you can take the duplication features to an advantage. First is regarding to the advertising, and then second also the duplication option for creating campaigns. So within the advertising, it may of course be that you would like to make some changes. For instance, you want to remove that line of IKEA business, or perhaps you want a different color and make the text white. Also, let's say you want the text aligned to the left, and a bit of transparency within the banner. Perhaps the logo located. No, it's best located at the top right. But as you can see, you may be doing some changes to make it a bit more in line with your brand. And yeah, it would of course be a lot of manual work if you have to do these changes for each and every ad within one campaign, or perhaps even in several campaigns. So to cater to that, we have the duplicate variant option, and it's just a quite simple trick which will create an exact copy of the ad variant. And now you can see, for example, if you want to change just to one of the other images, that it's already in the correct formatting. So yeah, it's a very simple trick, but it could be very useful if you want to have a sort of consistency with the different templates that you use for the campaigns. All right, so that's for the advertising. Then finally, I want to show you the duplication option for campaigns. So by creating a new campaign, as you can see, you also have the option to base on a previous campaign. And there are several cases in which this could be helpful. So the one I will demonstrate right now is, for example, if you want to do this in an alternative location. So let's say you have the same vacancy and it's for 95% the same content, but just you want to do it in a different region. I want to copy this campaign, and I'm going to go for sales interior designer again. You can also select the brand, and then by clicking create campaign, you will see that all setup for the page is actually identical as was with the original campaign. So let's say you now want to do the campaign in Berlin. Yes, so software has to travel a long distance to do this. But as you can see, the targeting is now set to Berlin. And once you go to the advertising, of course, you may need to adapt some of the text because now it's referred to the city in Malaysia. But yeah, if we were to change that to Berlin, yeah, you can already save a lot of time, especially if you're content with the original campaign that you've created. And then also for the vacancy page, you wouldn't want to do the same check to make sure that all references to the original city is replaced with the new city.